All right, Shalom Israel. Before we start, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who rule and teach, to the Akims on the highways and byways pushing this word in truth and sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. So one of the things we want to go over, is the covenants, like who is the covenants for? And really this lesson is just for those who are coming in new into the truth. Because, those who are established, that the covenant is only for Israel. But what we want to do is go through some scriptures just to show that the covenant is actually for Israel, contrary to what we may have been taught. And we're going to use scriptures to confirm this. So the first scripture, if you could read what you got there, please, Brother Kishar.
Yep, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
Yeah, so when we teaching or when we're saying something, to say this is what the Bible says, we have to go to the laws and the testimony. Basically, in short, go to the Bible, go to what we call the scriptures today. So this is where we have to get our understanding from. If we're saying it goes like this, we have to go to this and be able to show it. And we have to be able to show it with at least a few precepts, confirm what we're saying, give a few witnesses. So if you can jump to Romans chapter 9. Romans chapter, let's start off there. Yeah, because this is one of the favorite compadres of Christianity when it comes to making up the doctrine that we have. And we're going to see what our good brother Paul has to say about the covenant. So if you want to start at verse 3?
Yep. Right, this is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Verse 4. Who are Israelites?
Who are who?
Who are Israelites.
So Paul is saying that he wished that he could have taken on the same things that Yahushua went through, for his brethren, for his kinsmen, according to the flesh. Now, the fact that he says the flesh, that means he's not talking about any spiritual Israelites.
Yeah? That's right.
Yeah. Read the next verse there.
Yeah, verse 4. Who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption?
Hold on there. What I want to do quickly, I want to share my screen and look up something. Where it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth. Now, pertaineth is Old English for saying pertain. So I want to share my screen quickly, and we're going to look up that word. Yeah, and see what that word means. Can you see my screen, yeah?
Yep.
It says pertaineth, so in basic, in short, it just means pertain or pertain in. So let's see what that says. It says pertain. It says be appropriate, related, or applicable to. Yeah, it says, I'll read that again. It says be appropriate, related, or applicable to. And then underneath it says concern. So it says relate to, be related to, be connected with, be relevant to. So when we go back to let me come out and share the screen. Okay, so when we go back to verse 4 again, that word pertaining or pertaineth means it's related to. This is who it's related to. So read verse 3 and then go to 4 again.
Sure. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Christ for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. who are Israelites,
So, yeah,
to
go on.
whom
Yeah.
to whom pertaineth
So it says to
the
whom
adoption.
pertaineth. So this means that these things that Paul's going to mention now pertains or belongs or relates to the Israelites. So read on.
To who pertaineth the adoption
So the,
and
adop-
the glory,
so the adoption pertains to the Israelites. The glory pertains to the Israelites. Go on.
the covenants,
It says the covenants, plural. That means the old covenant and the new covenant pertains to the Israelites. Read.
and the giving of the law.
So the giving of the law was only given to the Israelites. Read.
And the service of God.
When we read the scriptures, only the Israelites did the service of God. Read.
And the promises.
So it's letting you know that all these things that the brother just read out, these pertain, belong, relate to the Israelites. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Whose are the fathers, and of whom, as concerning the flesh,
It says,
Christ came.
So just like he started off where it says, he wished that himself could be a curse for his brethren, his kinsmen according to the flesh, meaning physical, not spiritual. Then verse 5 it says, whose are the fathers, and of whom as concerning the flesh, yeah, physical, not spiritual, Christ came. Yeah, read on.
Who is over all, God blessed forever. Amen.
So when it comes to the covenants, plural, these
That's
things,
right. Yep.
according to the scriptures, belong to the Israelites. So let's we go to Hebrews. Hebrews.
Yeah, sure. I'll go there. Just before, just was going to say, just as the brother said about the covenants, we have to remember the covenants as well is the testaments. So when you see the Old Testament and the New Testament, it's really saying Old Covenant, New Covenant. It's the same thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, brother. What verse you wanted? Hebrews
chapter 8. Actually, before we go there, let's go to Psalms chapter 50, verse 5.
Yeah. Actually, that's good. Yeah,
let's go there first.
Psalms 50. Yeah, that's good. Actually, Psalms 50, verse 5. Yeah, gather my saints together unto me.
Hold on.
So
it says, gather my saints together. So this is also telling you who the saints are. Yeah, so read that again, Baba Kashar.
Yep, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that I have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
It says the saints are those who has made a covenant with by sacrifice. So who was the covenant made with? Let's go to Exodus chapter 24. Yeah, we do that. I ain't got no real order that I set this out.
Book of Exodus chapter 24. Which verse would you like, brother?
Start verse 3.
Verse 3, yep. This is the book of Exodus chapter 24, verse 3. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord.
Actually, quickly read verse 1. Let's establish who these people are.
So we can establish actually who was he talking to, because that's one main thing we have to establish, because everybody takes this whole book as inclusive. So you have to remember, if I'm talking to my children, I'm not talking to every child.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah, here's the point. Book of Exodus chapter 24, verse 1. And he said unto Moses, Come up unto the Lord, thou and Aaron, Nabad and sometimes I can't pronounce their names.
Abihu.
Is that Abihu? Yeah, Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. So now we know who they were talking to.
That's right.
And and worship.
Reading down. Just keep reading.
So just continue everything. Yeah. Okay. And worship ye afar off. Verse 2. And Moses alone shall come near the Lord, but they shall not come nigh, neither shall the people go up with him. Verse 3. And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments.
Hold on. So these people that is speaking to are the Israelites. That's what we're establishing here. Read on.
And all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord has said, we will do.
Yeah, read on.
Verse 4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and built an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
That's right. Yeah, so we're establishing that this is being done
very clear.
Children of Israel. All right, jump to verse 6.
This is the book of Exodus,
Actually, no,
chapter 24.
Yeah, continue with 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
No worries. Verse 5, continuation of Exodus 24, verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. Verse 6. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basin, and half of the blood and sprinkled on the altar.
Read.
Verse 7. And he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord has said, we will do, and be obedient.
So we can see that this first covenant that Moses is making with the people being the Israelites, is a blood covenant. Yeah, read on.
Verse 8. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words.
So this covenant, which is a blood covenant, it says the blood of the covenant, yeah, which the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. When he made them with the children of Israel, they said, all that the Lord has said, we will do. So read Psalms 50:5 again, Baba Shah.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
So we see that those that made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice are the Israelites, who the scriptures also tell us are the saints. So let's go to Hebrews, because we just read in Romans where Paul said that these things pertain to the Israelites, the covenants, plural. So let's go to Hebrews chapter 8 and read from there. Actually, before
which would you like?
Jump to John chapter 5 verse 30, because we have to remember that a lot of people think that Christ came. Actually, before you go to John, I want Malachi. You get John. I'm going to read Malachi. John
Go. No, you tell me. No, I'll go Malachi, then I'll go John.
No, I'm there. I'm in Malachi already.
All right. John. Okay.
Yeah. So this is Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. It says, "For I am the Lord; I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed." So what we have to realize is that the Lord don't change. He made a covenant with the Israelites. That hasn't changed. Now read John chapter 5 and 30. Let me just clarify that.
John 5 and 30. And just to clarify what you just said about the Most High Yahweh not changing, we have to remember, even when you read Hebrews 13, Yahweh
8, yeah,
changes not also.
You get that after.
Yeah, we get that up after. Okay. You wanted John, which one?
5 and 30, because a lot of people think that when Yahweh came, he came.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So Muhammad said he doesn't change, and let's see what Yahweh says here. Read.
Oh, did you want me to get that one?
Yeah, John 5 and 30.
Yeah, I've got that ready.
Oh, yeah. Read Which one you want to read
Yeah, because
first?
you said John. No, you said to me John 5:30. That's what I've got. Hold it.
Yeah. Read that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the book of John, chapter 5, verse 30. I can of mine own self do nothing.
And these are
As I hear.
Hold on. These are red letters, so that means that this is Yahushua speaking. He said, of his own self, he can do nothing. Read.
Yeah, it says, verse 30. I can of mine own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which hath sent me.
So we know that the Father, as read in Malachi 3 and 6, he doesn't change. Get on that in 13 and 8, Baruch Shah.
Yeah.
The Father doesn't change. Now, Yahushua just said he can of his own self do nothing. Says, because I seek not mine own will, but the will of the Father which has sent him. So let's see if Yahushua also changes. Read that.
Okay, just for the view, I'm just going to let you know, I will be reading it as it is written. So when it says Jesus Christ, that's what I will read, even though we do know his proper name is Yahushua.
Yeah, God.
But this is the book of Hebrews. Yeah, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forevermore.
So, as we know, you want to say something? You can expand it.
No, go ahead. That's it. No, that's it. Go.
We just read the Father doesn't change. Yahushua doesn't change. And he said he came not to do his own will, but the will of the Father. So that means that he's not come to change anything that was written before. You know, the brother, did you read Isaiah 8 and 30? 8 and 20?
Not yet.
Bring that
no, not yet, no. Yeah, I'll go right there. Isaiah 8 and 20.
Yeah, Isaiah 8 and 20.
This is the book of Isaiah. Yep. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8.
Yeah, I will show you.
Oh, yeah. No, this is the one we read first. I can read it again.
Okay, yeah, read that again.
Yeah, we started out on this verse.
All right, read that again for me then.
Yeah, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 8, verse 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them.
So Yahushua didn't come to change anything that's written. It says to the law and to the testimony. He's going to be speaking according to the law and to the testimony, because we know when we read the laws and the testimony, these are words given to us by the Heavenly Father. So in Psalms 50 and 5, it says, "Gather my saints together, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice." We went to where that covenant was made in Exodus, and it was the Israelites that made the covenants with the Lord by sacrifice. Then we read Paul covering a number of things which pertained to the Israelites. One of them was the covenant, plural. Yeah, so let's see who we know the old covenant was made with the Israelites. So let's see what the new covenant, who that is made with. Hebrews chapter 8, and start from verse, is it 8? No, start from verse 6.
We're going to start verse 6.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Right, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 6. But now has he obtained a more excellent ministry, by how much also he is the mediator of a better covenant, which was established upon better promises.
Because you have
his promises there again.
Yeah, and you have to remember that the first covenant was a blood covenant, which was made with animals. Yeah, this one round now, which we can read a bit later, this wasn't made upon the blood of bulls and goats. Yeah, read on.
For if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second.
That's right. So we're going to read about the second covenant now, because the first one wasn't faultless. Read.
Right. This is verse 8. For finding fault with them, he saith.
Them. Now, who's the them? As the brother moves on, you're going to find out who the them is. Read.
Yeah, for finding fault with them, he saith, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant
Read.
with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
But when he said with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, that's going back to let us know that after King Solomon died, the kingdom split in two. Yeah, half was known as the house of Israel, that was the northern kingdom, and the rest was known as the house of Judah, which was known as the southern kingdom. That's why it says, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Read.
Yeah. Verse 9, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt.
So this is how
because
we know
they can.
Hold on. So this is how we know
Yeah.
that it's speaking about the Israelites. Yeah? It's not speaking about anyone else. Read on.
What we got? Yeah, I took them out of the hand and led them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. Verse 10.
Yep.
Yeah. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord.
So when it says the house of Israel, it's talking about all 12 tribes. That's why it says the house of Israel.
Yeah. The two nations becoming back one. Because we can even explain that later also.
Yeah.
Okay, yep. Yeah, it says, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
So when we talk about the new covenant and the old covenant, we can see going through the scriptures that these covenants pertain to the children of Israel. Yeah, as Paul said in Romans chapter 9, according to the flesh, these are the physical Israelites. It's not speaking about a spiritual Israelites, which is what we normally hear the Christian church speak about. This is how they try to bring themselves into the covenant by talking about a spiritual Israel. But Paul already made it clear that he's talking about a physical Israel. That's why he said according to the flesh. And having just read this verse here now, it's letting us know that the Father is going to make that covenant with the house of Israel, not a spiritual Israel, but a physical Israel.
Just got a precept for you when you're finished.
Yeah, go on.
Continue on, yeah?
No, do your precept.
All right, okay. Yeah, just the precept I just wanted to bring out was the fact that when we did read Hebrews 8:8, when it did say, I will make a covenant with the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Now, this had shown you that there were two nations. They were classed as two separate nations. This is Ezekiel, 37:22. And it says, and it reads, and I will make them one.
Hold on. Yes, this is one of the purpose why Christ actually died in the first place, because remember, separated into two nations and two kingdoms. We were known as two separate nations and two separate kingdoms, which a lot of people don't really realize. Because when Christianity teaches the New Testament and they speak about Jews, they would argue that it's speaking about the whole.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When it's only speaking about the southern kingdom, for the most part, with the remnants of the other tribe that was probably there. You know what I'm saying? Bring out your precept, bro.
Yeah, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37, verse 22. It says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all, and they shall be no more two nations.
Hold on. Where did you start from?
You want to break that down? I started at 22.
Start 21.
Ezekiel 37, 22. Okay, start at 31, yep.
21,
yeah. This is the book of Ezekiel. Yeah, this is the book of Ezekiel 37, verse 21. and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It kind of gives it more clarity.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land.
So we know we're talking about the children of Israel.
And verse 22. Yeah, verse 22. Yep. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel.
That's
and
right.
One king, and one king shall be king to them all.
That's
and
Yahweh.
they shall be, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
Now, as the brother said, you know, that was a good precept in George for that. That's letting you know that, you know, Yahushua came to bring us back, to make us one kingdom, so that we're no more two kingdoms or two nations. And that's one of the purpose of that new covenant, to bring us back together into one fold. That's why when he said, other sheep I have which are not of this fold, we have to remember that at the time that he walked the earth, he was amongst the southern kingdom. Those of the other fold were majority those of the northern kingdom, who had been cut off when we read Hosea chapter 1. So if we go to Hebrews chapter 9 now, because remember it says he's going to make a better covenant. We're going to see why this is a better.
Which one you want? Yeah, Hebrews 9.
And start from, I'm going to read quite a bit this. So start from verse 7. Because what's happening now? They're speaking about when the priest used to go into the holiest of holies, and he used to make atonements for his sin and for the sins of the people. Read.
Right, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 7. But unto the second went the high priest afore, once every year, not without blood, which he offered for himself and for the heirs of the heirs of the people.
That's right.
Verse 8. The Holy Ghost, this signifying that the way into the holiest of all was not yet made manifest, while as the first tabernacle was yet standing. That's verse 9.
Right. First tabernacle, that's going into, you know, that covenant made with Moses concerning animal sacrifice. Go on.
Verse 9, which was a figure for the time then present, in which were offered both gifts and sacrifices, that could not make him that did the service perfect, as pertaining to the conscience. Verse 10.
Under the first covenant, if we committed certain sins, animal sacrifice couldn't atone for those sins. We had to pay with our own life, with our own blood. Read on.
Verse 10, which stood only in meats and drinks and diverse washings and carnal ordinances imposed on them until the time of Reformation.
Meaning imposed on us until the time that Christ came. Read.
Verse 11, but Christ being come and high priest of good things to come by a greater and more perfect tabernacle.
That's right.
Not made with not made with hands, that is to say, not of this building. If we want to break that down, because verse 12.
Verse 12.
neither by the blood of goats and calves, but
That's the
by
point.
his
And that's,
own
hold on,
blood.
hold on. And that's part of the point I wanted. Because remember, when we read in Exodus, yeah, Moses took the blood of bulls and calves, and that was what the first covenant was established upon.
That's right. He sprinkled it on the people around the altar.
So it's letting us know that this covenant now is not based upon the blood of goats and calves. Read. But what is it based upon?
Okay, I start at 12. I just go from top of 12. Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us.
So this covenant now is based upon the blood of Yahweh Shai. That's what this is based upon. It's not based, like, that's why it said that the old covenant was not perfect. Because like I said, under the old covenant, certain sins that we committed will be put to pay with our own life. Quickly grab Acts 13. Quickly grab Acts 13 for me. Acts 13.
Do you want me to hold this one? We coming back to this?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll hold that and go to Acts 13.
Acts 13. Just gonna see why this is a better covenant now.
Yeah, Acts 13. What verse you want?
38 and 39.
Acts 13, verse 38. This is the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 38. Be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that though this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins.
Hold on, it says that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sin. Yeah, through Yahweh Shai. Read.
39. And by him all that believe are justified from all things from which ye could not be justified by the law of Moses.
So now through Yahweh Shai and his sacrifice, we can now be justified for our faith in him, of things that we couldn't be justified under the law of Moses. Because like I said, under the law of Moses, you committed certain sins, you had to pay with your own life. You know, the blood of bulls and goats couldn't atone for those sins. Now we have a better sacrifice which he paid for by his own blood. So go back to Hebrews chapter 9 and continue at 13.
At 13, yeah. Verse 13 of chapter 9 of Hebrews. For if the blood of bulls and of goats and the ashes of an heifer sprinkling the uncleanness sanctifieth to the purifying of the flesh.
So
verse 14.
If those things back then used to be what sanctifies and purifies, read on.
How much more shall the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God.
So how much more now the blood of Yahweh Shai is going to purge us from our sins? Because like the brother just read in Acts, you know, through our faith in Yahweh Shai, now we can be forgiven of all sins that we couldn't be forgiven under the law of Moses. Now, read on. Now, this is going back into the covenant again. So everything's just tied in.
This is verse 15.
Hold on. And this verse here, you know, is very cutting because it's going to let you know who Yahweh Shai died for. Read on.
Verse 15. And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by me.
He's the mediator of the new covenant. I want you to read this a bit slow. Go on.
Okay. Yep. I'll start from 15 again. And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament.
Yahweh by the mediator of the New Testament, the new covenant. Read.
That by means of death,
meaning that
for the redemption of the transgression that were under the first testament.
So he's telling you that by Christ's death, yeah, by means of his death, it says, for the redemption, the redeeming of the sins of them that were under the first testament. Who was under the first testament? The Israelites.
Mhm.
So it's letting you know in this verse that Yahushua died for the sins of those that was under the first testament. Read on.
Yeah, under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
It says, them which are called. Who's called? Quickly grab Isaiah 43 and 1. It says,
Isaiah 40. Did you say 40 or 43?
43. It says, them which are called might receive eternal promises. So let's see who is actually called.
Isaiah 43, and what verse you want?
First verse.
First verse. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1. But now thus saith the Lord that createth thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not.
Go on.
Yeah, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by name, thou art mine.
So it says, I have redeemed thee, just like how Yahushua came to redeem those that were under the first testament. Yeah. Now jump to Isaiah 48 and 12. Just clarify who was called.
Isaiah 48 and 12. Okay, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 48 and verse 12. Hearken unto me, O Jacob, and Israel, my called. I am he.
It says, hearken unto me, O Jacob, and Israel, my called. Read.
I am he. I am the first. I also am the last.
So let's jump back to Hebrews chapter 9 and 15 again, Brother Shah. So
9:15.
Yeah, now we know that those who are called are the Israelites. So read verse 15 again.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 15. And for this cause he is the mediator of the New Testament, that by means of death, for the redemption of the transgression that were under the first testament, they which are called might receive the promise of eternal inheritance.
So it's letting you know that Yahushua died to redeem those who had transgressed under the first covenant. That's what the testament means. All right, read on. Remember, it's
first.
Oh, into the
Sorry,
as you read on, it's going to go into the first testament. Read on.
Yeah, verse 16. For where's a testament is, yeah, there must also be necessity be the death of the testator.
The testator.
The testator. Yeah, I just realized it. The testator. Yeah. For verse 17. For the testament is of force after men are dead. Otherwise, it is of.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
Now it says, for a testament is of force after men are dead. So that's when Yahushua started to bring in the New Testament after he died. He made that applicable now. Yeah, for us to be under that new covenant when he died. Go on.
Otherwise, it is of no strength at all while the testator liveth. Because
that's like a will. When you write your will, while you're alive, that will don't apply.
Of no
force. Once you died, then that is of force. But even then, once you die, it's not fully in force. You still have to go through certain stages before you receive what is written in that will. And that's what we're doing now. We're going through those stages before we fully come under this new covenant, where we have the laws put in us, and we don't have to teach our brothers, like it says if the brother had read on in Hebrews chapter 8. So read verse 18.
Verse 18. Whereupon neither the first testament was dedicated without blood,
That's right.
Verse 19. For when Moses had spoken every precept to all the people according to the law, he took the blood of calves and of goats with water and scarlet wool and hyssop, and sprinkled both the book and all the people.
Saying what?
Verse 20, saying, this is the blood of the testament which God has enjoined unto you.
So we see that the first covenant was made with the Israelites, and Yahushua came to make the second covenant with the Israelites. You know, that's why Paul said in Romans 9 verse 4 that the covenants, plural, pertain to the Israelites. So let's just quickly bring out some more covenant scriptures. Get me Ezekiel 6.
I've got a precept for you just about that pertaining to the Israelites. When you're finished, do you want? Should I get your one first?
No, bring out your precept.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, the precept I was just going to bring out. This is Matthew 27, when they delivered up Yahushua to Pilate. Now, there's something Pilate does say clearly that shows that he only died for us.
All right, go on.
I'll get to the point. This is book of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 24. Now it says, when Pilate saw that he could not prevail nothing, but rather a tumult was made, he took water and washed his hands before the multitude, saying, I am innocent of the blood of this just person. See ye to it. Verse 25. Then answered all the people, which were the Israelites, and said, his blood be on us and on our children.
You know, he always counted our foreparents.
Yes, surely, to put us right in the mire. Yeah, sorry. What was the precept? What was it you wanted me to go get?
No, before you go, you grab arm.
Yeah.
Grab arm 11.
I mean, like, you know, the funny thing you say that about we can trust in our forefathers. I mean, we can even see where it even says in there that our forefathers, they ate sour grapes, but the children's teeth are set on edge.
That's
Now, that's just exactly what that's saying. Yeah, which one did you want?
Get John chapter 11. Yeah, because I want to
John.
show here
John
as well, these Pharisees, like the high priest Caiaphas, who we're going to read about here.
Yeah.
Who Yahushua was and the purpose of Yahushua.
Yeah. Caiaphas definitely understood, and he understood the prophecy with Yahushua.
Exactly, just like Paul.
Yeah.
So read.
Where do you want me to start at?
Give a bit of context. Read from 45.
Yeah. You know, I knew you was going to say 45. I had my finger right on it already.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I wanted to start there as well, because a lot of people pick on John 1:11, where it says he came unto his own, and his own received him not. Yeah, but when it says it's still talking about as many of his own. People then switch it to everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you know that not everyone disregarded Yahushua. So read 45.
Right, this is the book of John, chapter 11, verse 45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Jesus did believed on him.
It says
there you go, there's the point you just made.
Yeah, many of them. That's why I wanted you to read from there, to let people know that many of the guys still believed on Yahushua. Yeah, now read on.
Verse 46. But some of them went their ways to the Pharisees and told them what things Jesus had done. Verse 47. Yeah. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, What do we? For this man doeth many miracles. Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation.
And
that's a good point you've just gone. They
feared losing the position that the Romans gave them. You read on.
Mm. Yeah, so I just was going to add to that. That's a good point you just brought out there with that precept, because it's just going to show that the Romans set them up to do a job, so they had to do it. And it's just like today, these pastors that go to seminary school and theologian schools, the Catholic Church has set them up to do a job, and if they don't do the job the way they want it done, they will remove them and put someone who will.
That's right.
It's the same thing. Yeah,
that's their place in their nation.
Yeah, that's right. Which for this day and age, they'll lose their house, because remember the church comes with a house and it comes with a car, so they lose them benefits.
That's right. That's
you see, of the modern day, you know, pastor, he'll lose them benefits if he doesn't do it the way that, you know, they want him to do it. Anyway, verse 49. And one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same year said unto them, Ye know nothing at all. Verse 50. Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not.
You hear that? It says that one man should die for the people and the whole nation, not the whole world. Yeah, this is a high priest who's skilled in the scriptures.
Context.
Yeah, read on.
Yeah, read on. 51. This verse 51. And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Jesus should die.
He prophesied. Yes, so Caiaphas was prophesying. Let's see what he prophesied. Go on.
Yeah, he prophesied that Jesus should die for that nation. Notice it said that nation. So it's singling out a people. Verse 52. And not for that nation only, but that also he should gather together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad.
Now let's see who was quickly scattered abroad. James 1:1.
Abroad. James 1:1, yep. We see who the children of God was, which was scattered abroad. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which were scattered abroad, greetings.
That's right. So we know that the children of God that were scattered abroad were the 12 tribes, and we're going to clarify that when we jump to Ezekiel chapter 36. But this also goes into the new covenant. Bring that out. That's why the scripture said, as I said, to the law and to the testimony, they speak not according to this word. There's no light in them. Yahushua couldn't have come and said something different to what's already written before he came on the earth. And he couldn't have come to change anything that was written. Now start at read verse 19. Yeah, because we just read for the children of God that was scattered abroad. So read verse 19, verse 24.
19 and then 24, yeah. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 19. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed. And they were dispersed through the countries according to their ways and according to their doings. I judged them.
Read verse 21.
Down to 20. Oh, 21. Verse 21. But I had pity for mine holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went.
So it's letting you know who was scattered. Now jump to 24.
Verse 24 of Ezekiel 36.
This is going into that new covenant. Go on.
For I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. verse 35, verse 25. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you,
That's right.
and ye shall be clean, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness, and from all your idols I will cleanse you.
Read on.
Verse 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you.
Remember,
and I will take...
In the covenant, it says that he's going to put his laws in our... let me quickly... Trip. Yeah, this is Hebrews. I don't think you read down this far. Hebrews chapter 8. I read verse 10 again. For this is the covenant, Hebrews 8 and 10. For this is the covenant I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. So, what verse did you just read? Read 26 again.
I just read 26. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 36, verse 26. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. Right. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh.
Read on.
Verse 27. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my...
So this is why we won't be teaching our brothers and our neighbors the laws anymore, because we're going to have them instilled within us. Read.
And I will cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them.
Verse 28.
Verse 28. And ye shall dwell in the land that I give to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your God.
That's the new covenant there the Lord is going over again. So I want to bring it out in one more place before we close out. Actually, I'm going to bring it out in two more places. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. And we're going to
Deuteronomy.
We're going to read from
Deuteronomy verse chapter 30, verse
1 to 6. Because this is what we're actually doing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what we're actually doing now. Yeah. Leading up to the Lord, putting the laws in our hearts.
Right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 30, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessings and the curses which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations whither the Lord thy God has driven thee.
This verse is what 2. We're doing now. You know, we've heard brothers break down the curses, and we're bringing them back to mind, realizing that we're these people. Read.
Verse 2. And shalt return unto the Lord thy God, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul. Verse 3. That then the... I thought he was going to say something.
No, go on.
Verse 3. That then the Lord thy God will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord thy God has scattered thee.
And that's what we just read in Ezekiel 36. You know, he scattered us, and then he's going to return and gather us and bring us into the land. Read on.
Verse 4. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of heaven, from thence will the Lord thy God gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. Verse 5. And the Lord thy God will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it.
That's right.
And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
Read on, verse 6.
So we'll be more blessed than our fathers.
That's right. You know?
Verse 6. Verse 6. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with.
This is him now putting the laws in us, as we've read in previous verses. Go on.
I'll start at 6 again. Yeah. And the Lord thy God will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed to love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
So this is also going into the new covenant, into us remembering who we are, us repenting, the Lord coming back, Yahushua returning, gathering us from where we were scattered, and the law's been put into our hearts. Now, the last scripture I want us to bring out is based, because like we started off with Isaiah 8 and 20, they speak not according to this word. Everything we went through in the New Testament was according to the law and the testimony. So we're going to read it in Jeremiah 31. Yeah, because
Book of Jeremiah 31.
Those who read about in the New Testament, they didn't have what we call the New Testament today to read from. They were reading from what we call the Old Testament, also known as the law and the testimony. So they can't now come and teach something contrary. It's like me reading something out of this and then go and teach something totally different. That don't make no sense. Yeah, so read verse 31 for me.
Yep. I'll just add what you said. I mean, like what you just said about like what we're about to read now. This was said in Hebrews 8 and 8. Like right. This is where Paul was quoting, and so this is where Paul was quoting from. He was quoting from Jeremiah. So when Paul made that statement, he was quoting Jeremiah. Just for that. Okay, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse. What do you want me at? 31 or 30?
31.
Sorry.
31.
Start at 31. Yeah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 31. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Verse 32, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt.
That's right.
Which my covenant they break. Which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith the Lord. Verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord.
This is where Paul got it from. Paul ain't going to read the law and the testimony, being a Pharisee with all that knowledge he had, and then come and teach something different. This is what the Christian church, and I should say, does today. They teach different. It actually says the law and the testimony, which means they've got no. Yeah, that's what it says. They speak contrary to us. You've got no life. Read on, my brother. Verse 33.
Yeah, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people.
That's right.
Verse 34.
Good.
So, okay, verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord, for they shall know me. They should all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord.
We're going to have that covenant, those laws instilled within us now. Now, I said that was the last one. I just want to bring one more. Jump to chapter 32.
Yeah, should I just finish this? Should I just finish this out? 34?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. For it says, for I will forgive their iniquities and I will remember their sin no more. That was it. That's it finished out.
I will remember their sins no more. Not everybody's sin, because only we were given the laws to break in the first place. Now, jump to chapter 32 and read from verse 37.
32. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32, verses 37.
Remember, Caiaphas said that he was going to gather the children of God that were scattered. Yeah? So read on.
Behold, I will gather them out of all countries whither I have driven them in mine anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. Verse 38. And they shall be my people, and I will be their God. 39. And I will give them one heart and one way, and that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and of their children after them.
Hold on, stop there. Stop. Quickly read verse 36.
Verse 36. This is the Jeremiah 32, 36. And now, therefore, thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning this city, whereof ye say, it shall be delivered into the hands of the king of Babylon by the sword and by the famine. Sorry?
No, I said I just wanted to clarify that is dealing with the children of Israel, not with.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
No, read verse 32. Verse 32.
You read what, 32 or 32? Yeah.
Yeah. Instead. Yeah.
Okay. Right. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32, verse 32. Because of all the evil.
Better still. Hold on. Better still.
Sorry. Yeah. Say that again.
Start from verse 30. Verse 30.
Yeah, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 32, verse 30. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only.
Hold on, that's going into the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. That's why it says
southern kingdom.
Children of Israel and the children of Judah. Yeah, and when we was reading the covenant, it says with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Go on.
Yeah, for the children of Israel and the children of Judah have only done evil before me from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, saith the Lord.
So I just wanted to clarify.
Okay.
Clarify it was spoken to. So go back to verse.
Oh, who he was speaking to? Yeah.
Yes. Go back to verse 38. No, 37. 37 again. Slacker.
Yeah, verse 37 of chapter 32 of Jeremiah. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries whither I have driven them in mine anger and in my fury and in great wrath, and I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. Verse 39. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them and of their children after them. Verse 40. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them.
It will do
that
what?
I will not. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them.
See, and remember, we read, I am the Lord, I change not, Malachi 3:6. So the first covenant was with the children of Israel. The second covenant was made with the children of Israel. And it's an everlasting covenant, you know. So read that verse again, Babakasha.
Yeah, verse 40. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them being the children of Israel, as we read earlier.
That's right.
That I will that I will not turn away from them to do them good. To do them good, but I will put my fear in their hearts that they shall not depart from me.
Yeah, because we're not going to be breaking these laws anymore. Once that that new covenant has been established and he's put those laws within us, we're not going to be breaking them anymore. Read on.
Verse 41. Yet.
Yeah, go on.
Verse 41. Yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in this land, assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul.
So this is something that the Most High really wants to do, but we keep mucking up so that he can't do us good. He has judgment upon us. So when he puts those laws in us now, we're going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Going to be like Yahweh Shai. Yeah, read.
Verse 42. For thus saith the Lord, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them. That promise, as we read in
Romans
9. As we read earlier in Romans 9. Yeah.
You know what? Let me grab a next priest. Let's end in the New Testament. Get me Acts chapter 26. Because one of the reasons why Paul went up in front of what's that brother's name? Let me quickly find his name. Agrippa, King Agrippa. Yeah, is because they were bringing a charge against him. Let's see what charge they were bringing against Paul. So start from Acts 26 and read verse 6 and 7.
It's the book of Acts chapter 26 verse 6. And now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promises, for the promise made.
Hold on. Read actually from verse 4, Baruch Shah.
Okay, this is the book of Acts chapter 26 verse 4. My manner of life from my youth, which was at the first among mine own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Jews. Verse 5, which knew me from the beginning, if they would testify that after the most straitest sect of our religion I lived a Pharisee.
Paul was a Pharisee, so he was well versed in this. But listen to the charge that they were trying to bring against him. Go on.
Verse 6, and now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made, for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers.
The promise made of God unto our fathers, read.
Verse 7, unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serving God day and night hope to come, for which hope's sake.
Go on.
For which hope's sake, King Agrippa, I am accused of the Jews.
So Paul is in letting you know here, when he was up in front of King Agrippa, that it says in verse 6, and now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers. Yeah, the promise weren't made to the fathers of these other nations. It was made to our fathers. It says, unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serve day and night hope to come. And today, still open for this promise to come. So this is why we keep repentance, man. Repentance before it's too late. The old covenant was made with the children of Israel. The new covenant was made with the children of Israel. That's why Paul said in Romans chapter 9, like the brother brought out, the adoption was for the Israelites. The promise, the service of God, the covenants, the glory, the giving of the law, all of these were made to the Israelites and made with the Israelites. For the Israelites. That's why it said according to the flesh. not according to the spirit. So we hope you brothers and sisters can get some understanding. You got anything you want to add?
Oh no! I think you've you've said what I would have said.
Yeah. So I hope you brothers and sisters can get a good understanding of that. You know, the covenant, the old covenant was made with the children of Israel, all 12 tribes. The new covenant was made with the children of Israel, all 12 tribes. And Yahushua dying made it possible because yes, he cut off the northern kingdom that we read in quickly grab Galatians 4:4. Yes, he cut off the
Okay, I'm just gonna grab one as well.
when we read Hosea chapter 1. Yeah, but since then all of us have gone off. So he had to die so that all of us can
Galatians 4.
back to the Father. Yeah, so read Galatians 4 and verse 5.
Yeah, and before we close out, I've just got one. I've got one to end with.
No problem, my brother.
Yeah. Right, Galatians 4 verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law. Verse 5, to redeem them that were under the law.
That's what we was
that
reading
we
about.
might
Hold on. That's what we was reading about. Hebrews chapter 9 verse 15, where it says to redeem the redemption of the transgression that was under the first testament. You know, Paul's saying it to the Galatians, to the Romans, you know, to the Corinthians. This is letting you know that these people are Israelites. Yeah. So read verse 5 again.
This is the book of Galatians chapter 4 verse 5. To redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons.
Yeah, so Yahushua died so that we could be forgiven for our transgression because we broke the first covenant, and so that we could be adopted back to the Father because we've strayed from him. Yeah, all 12 of us. All right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just was going to do the conclusion. Like when all said and done, this is the conclusion of the whole matter.
Bring it out.
And this is Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
And this conclusion,
Fear God.
Hold on. This conclusion is for the 12 tribes. Yeah, just like Paul was saying, the 12 tribes are hoping for these promises to come. This conclusion is for 12 tribes. Yeah, and even for the elect of those 12 tribes, because we know that 2/3 is going to die. So read that again from the top.
Yep, this is the book of Ecclesiastes 12, verse chapter 12, verse 13. I'll get it right in a minute.
Yeah.
Let us hear the Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
That's right.
And let's just want to take verse 14 as well, because let's bear this into mind also.
That's
verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. So we have to bear that in mind.
That's right. And with that, we're going to close out. We're going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, Kwam Yasha Allah.
Kwam Yasha Allah. Stay blessed, Israel.